Good morning, everyone. Good morning. G'day. How are you all day? Thank you so much for being here, and I want to express my appreciation and utmost and sincere gratitude for you being here. I'm just very very happy to be with you right now. Being here with you is my happy place. Thank you so much for attending this talk. Good morning, TM. And I'll just quickly explain what happened. Last week, we were meant to have an episode, and then I obviously couldn't upload. And it's because of when you set up the YouTube Live, you have to specify whether it's going to be on the computer or on the phone. I accidentally clicked on computer. So if you do that, it won't let you use the phone. So anyway, it is what it is. We are here today, and we're here to talk about a very, very important and fascinating and just appropriate topic that that really does bring about a lot of curiosity and intrigue when it comes to meditation, and that is the idea of how meditation can impact the brain, and it can in so many different ways. Hello, Natalie. Hey, Suzanne. Great to see you. So let's talk about that. And I just want to quickly introduce myself, Alex. You all know me, but to those who are watching us for the first time, this is a show in which we just talk about anything to do with meditation, just pursuing a more peaceful path as we grow, not only as meditators but as mindfulness practitioners and as people. Right, and how we apply it to our own lives. So it's very, very important. Hi, Stephanie. And so thank you and welcome. And let's begin. So this topic, meditation, the brain, we discussed it in our last episode. And this is almost like a sequel or an expansion of this topic that we touched on in the last episode. And it's extremely important for us to understand how meditation can impact the brain in so many positive and unexpected ways that we didn't even think could be possible. When you think of meditation, you think of just spiritual enlightenment. You think of someone sitting there with crystals and candles, possibly in this in this dimly lit room, looking, in a lotus position. But truth is, anyone can meditate at any time, and a variety of people now do meditate because of the impacts it does have on our brains. So we talked a little bit last time about the physiological effects meditation can have on the brain, about how it can affect the structure of the brain, among many other things. How it can shrink the amygdala, make the hippocampus grow, and it can also have a very positive effect on the prefrontal cortex. So I want to touch on a little bit and talk a little bit more about what we can start with the prefrontal cortex. Sorry, I'm still. But before we do, I just want to expand that there's been so much that has been studied about meditation. So much study has gone into, I'm talking thousands of studies have gone into, I'm trying to understand the effects meditation has on the brain. And, one of the most famous studies was from Harvard University, and that is, very linked to to how it has affected the amygdala and the hippocampus, and how the effects meditation has had on memory. And we'll talk a little bit more about memory shortly, but I want to talk about a few things. I want to begin with the prefrontal cortex, and we all know well, you may not, but the prefrontal cortex is associated with learning and with rational thinking, and studies again have shown that meditation can change the prefrontal cortex, can help us think more rationally, and it can help us establish a greater sense of equanimity and of control over our own decisions. And you know, there have been a lot of, there's a meditation that I haven't really done enough with you guys called the third eye meditation, which you just concentrate and focus on your third eye in between your eyebrows. And the third eye meditation is meant to enhance wisdom and intuition. But and it does, it is for good reason, because of the third eye. When you actually do that, studies have shown it can actually activate and exercise the prefrontal cortex and the pineal gland, which is mostly in charge of releasing melatonin in the brain, which helps you sleep better. But so at the end of this talk, we'll probably do a 5-minute third eye meditation, and I'll show you how that is done. And then I can record it later on Inside Timer for you to have. So we'll get there eventually. Another thing that meditation does is it enhances alpha waves in our brain. When our brain and our minds are in different states, it transitions into different wave states. Now, alpha waves, the best way to think of alpha waves are, it's basically like when your mind is in an idle state, right? You're kind of alert, but you're not engaged in any mental activities. And when your brain is in an alpha wave state, it'll usually oscillate between 8 to 13 hertz. And usually when your brain's in an alpha state, it's associated with being relaxed, calm, and a very alert state of mind. So studies have shown, especially studies in monks, and the study that comes to mind was a study at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, which concluded that meditation actually profoundly puts our brain in alpha state, which is quite incredible. Alpha states are very important because they're seen as a bridge between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And that's fantastic, because that can help us facilitate creativity and intuition, especially when we're doing mindfulness meditations, metta meditations, and third eye meditations. So those studies have concluded that during meditation, and especially the study that I just quoted from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, which was, and there was another one that, no, we'll stick to that one for now, that basically came to the conclusion that during meditation, especially when you're doing a regular mindfulness meditation, alpha waves in the brain tend to increase, right? And again, that promotes a sense of peace and facilitates the mind-body connection, which is a very important topic we can talk about later. And the study, they basically found that when you do meditate, your brain does go into an alpha state, but that also helps increase well-being, mental flexibility, and stress, and it obviously helps aid in reducing stress. So very, very important. When the brain is in a state of alpha, let's have a quick look. Suzanne is asking, do all different meditations, sorry, it just keeps popping out, affect the same part of the brain? Do all different meditations affect the same part of the brain? It's a great question. It's a great question, Suzanne. So different meditations may affect different parts of the brain, and I think it also depends on the practitioner and on the person themselves. But basically, long answer short, yes, in a way. Like for example, focus attention meditation, which means you're concentrating on a specific object, breath, or sound, is more, which is also the third eye meditation, engage the prefrontal cortex, right, and also the anterior cingulate cortex, right? So that, and then you've got open monitoring meditation, which we've done before, which is when you're monitoring the thoughts and you're accepting them and the sensations, and you're just scanning through everything that's happening in your body in real time. That also affects the prefrontal cortex, but also activates the insula, right? Which is what I talked about before. Helps release melatonin. Loving kindness meditation, again, affects the insula and emotional regulation. Mindfulness meditation, on the other hand, which again, we do it every single time that we meditate, is more often linked to the hippocampus, right? So obviously it affects other parts of the brain, but mindfulness meditation is directly linked to helping engage the hippocampus, which is very important because the hippocampus in our brain is in charge of memory, right? So yeah, I mean, they all have different effects on the brain. Transcendental meditation affects the thalamus, which is, also, in charge of sensory processing and stuff. So yeah, let's see. I'm just catching up on that. Natalie saying the third eye, or is this between your eyes, or am I wrong? So the third eye is more of a, it's like it's a spiritual concept that we have a third eye. It's a chakra, and that we can use that if we can activate that to access more wisdom and intuition. And it's been a very powerful concept for thousands of years, and we have recently discovered that it can actually help strengthen the prefrontal cortex and many other parts of our brain, and can help access intuition, help us think more rationally. So yeah, absolutely. So the third eye is a very, very important meditation. We'll do it soon. We'll definitely engage in a third eye meditation very, very shortly. So yeah. So yeah, anyway, but we'll talk about alpha waves. So yeah, alpha waves are, again, a very, very important state to be in, and studies have shown that it has the meditation puts us in an alpha state. Again, linking meditation to creativity and to a lot of things. Now, many of you may have heard of cortisol, which is known as a stress hormone. And the cortisol is actually produced by adrenal glands in our body, and it plays a very important role in very function. Like for example, cortisol is anti-inflammatory, right? But can also be it can hold us back, it can be very inhibiting in how we function, right? It can make us put on weight. It can result in high blood pressure when there are high cortisol levels. It can weaken our immune system. So cortisol is it's like a double-edged sword, right? Meditation has been shown to help reduce cortisol levels in the body, and and obviously, I mean, this comes from being in a state of relaxation, and it helps, again, lower our cortisol and facilitate a more balanced hormonal state, which is quite incredible. Specifically speaking, loving kindness meditation and mindfulness meditations, specifically speaking, have a very, very positive effect on reducing cortisol levels. So yeah, I mean, that's great, because it can also, lower cortisol has also been linked to higher memory. So if you can lower your cortisol levels, and it actually improves your memory, which is incredible, which can obviously enhance not only your well-being but your quality of life, and yeah, get better sleep, a better mood. So yeah, that's a pretty big one. Let's see if there's any questions. Nope, all good. Let me just quickly sip on my matcha. If you have any more questions, you can ask. Okay. So yeah, so those are just a few of the things that. So you have that meditation helps regulate our cortisol, right? Reduce our cortisol levels, put us in a better state of alpha waves. It helps strengthen our prefrontal cortex, okay? Specifically the third eye meditation, which we'll do in about 15 minutes or so. And most importantly, meditation is known famously for improving our memory. Okay, so numerous studies have shown that when people meditate regularly, at the very least 20 minutes a day, uh, their memory has improved as well. Now, there are physiological explanations. There are a lot the more logical explanations that you can cover. For example, the physiological explanations. Well, meditation has been shown to enhance the hippocampus in the brain. Now, the hippocampus in the brain, its size can be affected based on how stressed you are. So if you're very stressed, it can decrease your hippocampus. It can result in a lowering of the hippocampus's activity. So when you're meditating, when you're in a constant state of meditation, on a regular practice routine of meditation, it actually enhances your hippocampus, which is directly involved in helping us with our memory and our learning. But more than just that, it helps strengthen concentration, right? By when you're improving concentration and when you're more in the present moment, it can actually, greater concentration is linked with better memory and better memory retention. So there's that. When you meditate more often, your mind wanders a lot less. So again, you are more likely to focus on what it is. You're more likely to retain the information when your mind's not wandering. So that definitely does improve memory function. Back to cortisol, right? When you can reduce cortisol levels through meditation, it basically boosts your memory, which is great. Brain plasticity. So when you meditate on a regular basis, it helps improve neuroplasticity in the brain, which means that you can retain more information, and then you can adjust and adapt to more things, and you can absorb more information, which is amazing. Meditation also improves your sleep. So when you meditate more often, you sleep better. You sleep more it's not just that you sleep longer and you sleep with more ease, but it's more so the quality of your sleep that you're engaging in is a lot better. So you can, and I mean, there is no secret that how well you sleep is directly linked to your memory. So that is a very important thing. So yes, meditation is anti-aging in the sense that it helps you boost your memory, and yeah. Let me just have another sip of my matcha. So yeah, that's basically the one of the one of the things about meditation that I love the most is that it helps us with our it helps enhance your brain. It helps you grow, and it helps you just when we do age, our brain does deteriorate. We lose neuroplasticity in many ways. And again, meditation miraculously helps reverse that, which is quite incredible. It's just amazing. Yeah, I can't emphasize enough how brilliant it is. And most importantly, it enhances our quality of life, right? So when you stress less, when you sleep better, when you're in a better mood, when you're not letting outside things get to you, you know, you're basically, your life functions, runs a lot better and more effectively. So, yeah, it's very, very important to indicate that as well. Okay, let's see what you guys have to ask. So, let's see. And yes, Fatima, meditation does control blood pressure. It does control anxiety, absolutely, by shrinking the amygdala. By lowering cortisol, it regulates both our blood pressure and our anxiety, which is great. Suzanne's asking, is our brain more susceptible to certain meditations? Well, that's an interesting question. So every brain is different, right? But it can be influenced by a variety of factors. Like, for example, your personal preferences. Remember in the last episode, we're talking about whether some people are extra receptive and others are intro receptive. So we all respond to stimuli in different ways, right? And it also depends on what emotional state you're in, what are your goals, what it is you want to achieve. But for example, you may be more of the type of person who prefers visualizing, right? So you might want to just, you might find more value from focusing on your breath, or you might find more value from just scanning through your bodily sensations. You may even find that you're a musically inclined kind of individual, and then you respond to the sound meditations. They help you a lot better. So I think that there are different meditations that resonate with different people. It's not a one size fits all kind of thing. It also depends on what emotional state you're in. I find that the meditations I practice may vary depending on what emotional state I'm in, right? So if I'm in a very anxious state, which I have been recently, you can basically, I find that mindfulness meditations help me a lot, right? But if I'm feeling that I just need something a little bit more, I need to fill my soul with something, I do a metta meditation. And so there are, it depends. It depends, right? If I need to sleep, I'll do a progressive relaxation meditation. If I need inspiration, motivation, I'll do a visualization meditation. So, I think, again, it comes down to your goals. It comes down to your goals. It comes down to what it is that you need, right? It comes down to, what stage your brain is in, right? So, yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of things, but generally it all depends. So that's a great question, though. No, you're welcome, Suzanne. It's a great question. Can always count on you for a great question. So yeah, that's that. I'll give you a few more seconds if you have any more questions. But I'm glad that we talked about this. I'm glad that we talked about this because it's very, very important for us. Look, at the end of the day, our bodies, we can always exercise, work our bodies. And one of the things that we neglect oftentimes, more often than we should, is our brains. We give so much attention to our bodies, to our social circles, to the material possessions in our lives. We focus a lot on food. We focus a lot on exercise. Well, we hope so, right? At least we understand that is something we need to focus on. We do things, but we don't really dedicate much thought into how we can improve our brains. And sadly, it manifests later in life, and to the point where it just becomes almost like an acceptable reality that we now are just, our brains are deteriorating with age. I don't like having to accept that, right? So I think that we can prevent brain deterioration by doing something about it. And we're living in a time unlike any other time. We are gifted with so many studies that can prove to us that this is an incredible practice that can help improve our brains. Rest has a lot to do with how our brain reacts when we get overtired. 100%. So when we don't sleep enough, it can have a very, very negative impact on our brain. So there are so many things that we can do that can help improve our brains, and it's just so important that we focus on this one organ. So Suzanne's asking, did you learn all this during your training, or by a bit of both, Suzanne? By reading and during my training. I learned the basics from when I was training. You learn everything that you need to know, but then you have to take it further by doing a lot of reading. So every day I read a little bit more about meditation. I'm reading a book now. This is my latest book. I try to read one book a month about meditation, or one book every 2 weeks, actually. So this is my latest book that I'm reading, Mindfulness at Work. So this is a good book I just started reading. It's I try to read as many books as I can. I just finished another book by Daniel Goleman, Altered States. So that was good. Read it for a second time. I just didn't absorb enough. So Sue, hey, g'day Sue. Perfect time for your meditation to pop on my phone. Needed more than ever today. Okay, cool. Oh my God. Hope you're okay, Sue. Damn. Oh my God. Okay, well, hope you're okay. Sounds scary. Earthquake and storms. Is there a particular meditation for visualizing a situation that we want to manifest? Yeah, absolutely, Fatima. So if you head to my Insight Timer, check out my Insight Timer, and I have a manifestation visualization meditation. I love them. And I don't mean to brag, but I do, I honestly don't, but because I don't like bragging, but I do think that my visualization meditation is really good. So yeah, hold on. How can I love my brain? Sorry guys, I've got something stuck in my throat. There are many ways that you can love your brain. Just think about your brain a lot. Give it a lot of love. Give it a lot of attention. Eat well. I was reading somewhere that a nice tactic is to just actually give your brain a name like you would an animal companion or a child. That way you'll treat your brain better. But yeah, it's very important for you to love your brain. Ruth has a great question. I wonder how monks or meditators are affected with dementia as compared to... It's a great question, Ruth. And you know what's interesting? A few months ago, I looked into that. I was asking myself the exact same question as I was driving back from Bendigo, following one of our virtual tours. And as I was driving, I asked myself, wow, I do wonder what would be the percentage of monks who meditate on average 5 to 8 hours a day who have dementia. Turns out I couldn't find anything. So it's interesting because the monks in general, there is no indication that monks do suffer from dementia or from any form of brain deterioration. So if that is not an indicator, not that we already do have the evidence, right, that meditation does enhance memory and create more neural connections in our brain. We do have that, but I mean, that just further solidifies our speculations that when, monks, if we all meditated like monks, who knows? I suppose dementia clinics would not be very active, right? I mean, there is a lot that we can do. And at the end of the day, when it comes to dementia and, ailments that are under that umbrella, it's all about prevention. It's all about prevention. And there are so many ways we can avoid, having our brain go into that sort of state. And it's just, I think one of the biggest ways is meditation, right? I was reading a book called Grain Brain The guy there asserts that eating a gluten-free diet is directly linked to preventing anxiety. He thinks that gluten has a direct impact on Alzheimer's. So, because the gluten's an inflammatory protein, I don't know. I don't know about that. It could make sense. It was an interesting book. It was a great read. But I find that, there is no doubting that meditation can actually improve your memory and prevent anxiety, dementia. Sorry, guys, I got something stuck in my throat. Okay. So, what do you think of sound meditation? Suzanne's asking. It's a great question. Sound meditation is one of the most amazing meditations you can actually engage in. It's just amazing. The effects that it has, it changes our brain as well. Just like with every other meditation, but sound meditation is just amazing. It's one of those meditations that elevates you spiritually and elevates you like just in how you see the world and how you see yourself. It puts you in a very calm state, helps you function mentally better, just like every other meditation. But sound meditation is amazing. One of the biggest proponents I know of sound meditation is David G. Talks about primordial sound meditation, which just has an amazing. I should probably do more sound meditations, but sorry, something's stuck in my throat. But I actually did a sound meditation last week. Went to a yoga studio and they did a 25-minute sound meditation. And I was amazed by how I felt. So not just is it been proven to be amazing, sound meditations from an anecdotal perspective are just amazing. You just feel like you're on another level. You just feel really good. So it's almost like you just feel enlightened. So I highly recommend trying sound meditations for sure. It's a good question. Same sound. So usually how sound meditations would work, just like any other meditation, sound meditations vary. So you have sound meditations that are focused on one sound throughout the whole meditation. The one that I did last week involved a singing bowl. So she just kept doing this. And then I should have taken a photo of the machine that she had. She had this machine. It must have been worth $10,000. And it was like this big machine. It looked like something from a circus. And it played every single beautiful sound. And she just, navigated through the machines, through the machine. And it was just incredible. We're all in a different state. Yeah, they use the singing bowls. Yeah, they're amazing. I think I'm going to get one too. I want to start learning how to use them. They're very, very, very good. So long answer short, Suzanne, there's no one way to practice a sound meditation. The primary focus is to just focus on the sound, listen to the sound, let it absorb the sound, focus on the sound, and let the sound take over after a certain time. So yeah, absolutely. Suzanne's asking, can I listen to a piece of music I like? Would that have the same effect? Absolutely. I'm not sure if it'll have the same effect because it all depends on the music, right? But I think that it's better if the sound is a little, if it changes a little bit less, so you can look, yes, you can listen to classical music and that would be great. But I think that the more simple you keep it, the better. You know what I mean? Like singing bowls, for example. The focus isn't on the melody. The focus is just on listening to the sound of it. So yeah. No, it doesn't have to be monotonous, Suzanne. Absolutely not. So here's what you do. You turn on your favorite music. I personally prefer not having lyrics, but you can have lyrics. Turn on the music, close your eyes, and you listen to it. And then you just have to listen to the sounds. You don't you don't think about it too much. You just listen to the sounds, and you do that for as long as you can. But the main idea and concept behind the sound meditation is just be relaxed and listen to the sounds. No judgment, no thinking, no wondering, just listening to the sound like you would focus on the sound only. So it doesn't have to be monotonous, no. Almost like chanting, a type of hypnotic effect. Yeah, almost like chanting, TM. So, I mean, that's what I experienced personally when I did my sound meditation last week. I felt like I was in a state of, like I was being hypnotized. It was amazing. I felt like I was floating. So, yeah. But I think the best, from what I know, the best way to achieve the effects that you would from a sound meditation is through a singing bowl. Singing bowls are probably the best. But ultimately, humans, we're all wired differently and we experience meditations in different ways. So, and yeah, you can also listen to the sounds around you. You can listen to birds, the nature sounds. The idea primarily is to just focus on the sounds. So, but yeah, absolutely. Okay, so do you have any more questions? Let's do a little third eye meditation now. Okay, let's do a little third eye meditation. We'll see how you feel, and then yeah, we'll call it a segment. Okay, just sip on my matcha one more time. Absolutely, water sounds help a lot for sure. For sure, I find that the singing bowls, they help me a little bit, but I'm a bit like, I know where you're going with Suzanne. You want something that's more than just the same monotonous sound. I'm a bit like you. I like when I'm hearing something with structure, something that with a pattern, and I find that sends me into and which is what we did at the meditation last week. You know, we got into this state of continuous flow, which resulted from a certain pattern of music. It was just quite magical, and yeah. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to ask from you, if you never meditated before, I'll just cover the basics before we begin. I'm going to ask from you to find yourself seated comfortably, okay, with your back upright. And you'll find that this will be a very quick, it will be a 5-6 minute meditation, but you'll find that as you are meditating, your mind will wander. That just happens. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't worry. Okay, that just happens. It's part of the game. Find that you find yourself seated upright. You're relaxed in a safe place. Okay. And I'm going to ask from you to take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly exhale gently. Close your eyes. Begin by focusing on your breath, noticing the movements of your breath. Just take note of where your breath is felt most distinctly. And even now, as you begin, you will notice that thoughts may be seeping in. Take note of those thoughts, and then gently and patiently go back to your breath. I'd like you to take note of your body. Notice how your body feels. Is there any tension, discomfort, anxiety? Just scan through it and observe anything. Great. I'd like you to take a deep breath in through your nose, as deep as you can. And slowly exhale. Relax your muscles as you breathe out. And you fully exhaled. Let's go back to your body. Relax your jaw. I want you to now imagine a blue light akin to flowing energy in a constant state of movement. I want you to imagine it now in a little ball the size of a marble in your mind's eye. Notice this blue ball of energy now finding its way to your forehead and positioning itself in between your eyebrows. I want you to focus now on the small blue ball of energy that is now embedded in your forehead. It's now part of your forehead. And I want you to just focus on it now. I want you to keep witnessing it. Notice the colors, the movements, the brightness. And just focus on this area in between your eyebrows, your forehead. Your mind may wander. Thoughts may arise. When that happens, just go back to your head. Go back to the forehead, to the third eye, we'll call it. Keep focusing on the third eye, on the blue ball of energy situated in between your eyebrows. Notice that there may be sensations coming from there. You may experience maybe a little bit of tension. It may feel like you're concentrating hard. I want you to embrace whatever sensations come with it. Just keep focusing on this little ball of energy, of light, situated in between your eyebrows. Keep your focus. Keep focusing on it. If you can notice any tension in any of your muscles, just relax that muscle. And keep focusing on the blue light of energy situated right on your forehead, in between your eyebrows. Keep exploring this image, this location, the sensations. Explore. Witness. Observe. We're almost there. This is your time. And what you're doing is profound. So keep at it. Once you have, at it now. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And slowly exhale and feel the air leave your body. Relax your muscles. And just try relaxing your face, your forehead, and your jaw. Your entire body is more relaxed. Relax your eyeballs. When you're ready, you may gently open your eyes and welcome back physical surroundings. Oh, thank you for doing this. And I'd like to ask and see how you feel after this meditation. What sort of effect has this third eye meditation had on you? Were there any sensations coming through? Feel free to share in the comments. I'd like to know myself. With singing bowls, would it be better to listen rather than have your own? Yes, I think it all depends, but you mean your own singing bowls? Well, I think that, again, it depends on what you want to achieve. I think that there is a lot of comfort that comes with sitting down, not having to worry about anything, just absorbing the sound of the singing bowls. And I think that is there is a lot that comes with that. That is, a very important focus. But having your own and facilitating your own singing bowl sound, there's also a very calming effect, and it's almost like it is a different focus, and it is a different sensation, and it works different. It's just a different path, and I think it's important to explore both, but I wouldn't say one is better or one is worse. I would just say it all depends on what you want to achieve. And I find that for me, just sitting down and listening and absorbing and appreciating without having to facilitate is a very comforting and relaxing way for me to go about it. So Robin's feeling tingly. GW says it's interesting. That's good. Suzanne is saying, I'm feeling great, highly informative. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, Alex. Much appreciated. You're absolutely welcome, Suzanne. Great to hear that you're feeling great. That's and that's what I wanted to hear. I want to, I like. It's nice to hear your thoughts and how you felt. Ruth is saying, just thinking you cannot really meditate if you do it yourself, but it would be something different. Yeah. So okay. So the singing bowls, usually the people facilitating the meditation, the people running the meditation, the instructors, the teachers would be the ones using the singing bowls, right? And the people meditating will be listening to them. That said, it is a great way to just engage in mindfulness, right? If say you're alone in a room and you've got a singing bowl, it's just a great way to just practice and you get into a zone and you can just do it, and it can be very relaxing. It's very mindful practice, but typically in most cases, I'd say the people playing the singing bowls would be the teachers, and the people listening would be the students. So that's how you would go about using a singing bowl, if that makes sense, Ruth. You're welcome, Natalie. Thank you. Laura is saying, feeling very relaxed and at peace. Perfect. Sue is saying, feeling calmer, less anxious due to the weather. Thank you. You're welcome, Sue, and thank you so much for being here. I hope you're okay. Kathy saying, I was a little late, but enjoyed what I heard. Very relaxing. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Great to have you, regardless, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. Ruth is saying, yes, thanks. I like the chakra meditations. Thanks for info on the bowls. You're welcome, Ruth. Yeah, I love the chakra meditations. And regardless of whether you believe in the spiritual aspects of chakra or in the energies, that's one thing. And a lot of meditation practitioners dismiss chakra meditation. They say, look, we don't delve in that sort of stuff. We're purely science-based. And I don't like to dismiss things. There are thousands of years of ancient wisdom that have built the chakra meditations, so that there's a lot of validity to it. And I think that it's very ignorant to dismiss practices just because they're associated with spirituality. I love chakra meditations because, again, I'm not talking from a spiritual perspective, but they're a great way for us to not only practice our visualization, but also focus on different parts of our body. And I think there is a lot of power in that. It just helps create a very balanced bodily state. And from a physiological perspective, it makes sense to me. So I love chakra meditations. They're great. And there's a lot to learn from them. You're welcome, Stephanie. Thank you. So Fatima saying, I could feel movements in circles. Yeah, and that's how you practice chakra meditation. So you feel this, well, typically that's how you would have the different colors in your body, right? The blue is associated with the third eye, and the balls of energy would move in a certain direction, usually clockwise, but they would just move like that, and you would just see that. And it can also almost be hypnotizing in that way. But for sure, if you could feel the movements, then that's an amazing discovery, Fatima. It's great. Suzanne is saying our indigenous people sometimes use drums and chanting. That might be a kind of meditation as well. Oh, 100%, Suzanne, 100%. Look, it definitely is. It definitely is. And I'd say every religion that practices chanting or that plays instruments to create a greater spiritual feeling are practicing meditation ultimately. And I keep saying the meditation is not limited to Buddhism or to Taoism or to Confucianism or to any of those religious, or Hinduism, any of those Eastern and South Asian religious practices. Meditation can also be has been practiced for thousands of years by other religions like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and many of the other monotheistic religions, indigenous religions that we may not know about, may not know a lot about. Well, I don't know much about your indigenous religions, but it doesn't matter because that's all meditation. That all facilitates a higher sense of self and being. And it is no surprise to me that when religions practice in those practices, right, when they engage in those practices, that they do achieve a certain spiritual outcome. They feel closer to God or to their gods or to a higher being. And many of that is just a result of being in this meditative state, in a mindful, heightened, and awakened state in many ways, for sure. GW saying, would love to do a singing bowl meditation. Yes, so yeah, hopefully I'll get a singing bowl soon. I'll do a lot of practice. I need to practice it. I need to be good at it first before I start facilitating it. I don't like doing meditations I'm not really familiar with. So once I get good at it, then we'll do a lot of singing bowl meditations. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. I think we can learn a lot from that for sure. And we will, Fatima. We will definitely do singing bowl meditations with me. I love doing singing bowl meditations. They're amazing. Good night, Natalie. Thanks for being here. And hope you sleep well. Yeah, I know what you meant, Fatima. Absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much. If you have any more questions, by all means, ask. Now's a good time to ask. But I really enjoyed this. I really, really enjoyed and this sort of ties into our next week's topic, which will be the history and the philosophy of meditation. We're going to delve a little bit back into the history, and we're going to understand a little bit about the philosophical aspects of meditation, about where it comes from, and how each religion practices it and what it represents. And we're going to just take a different approach and learn a little bit more about that. We'll go from the physiological to the philosophical, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be very interesting. Ruth is saying, yes, I enjoyed the gong one we did ages ago. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, so thanks, guys. I appreciate your company. I appreciate your support. Thanks, Suzanne. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying that. Really appreciate that. Thanks, TM. You have a great day, a great evening for you guys. And yeah, we'll do many more. I am sending you lots of love, good energy, and I'm heading to the studio in about an hour because I'm going to record more meditations for you on Insight Timer. I booked the studio for 4 hours today. So I'm going to be there recording meditations for 4 hours. So hopefully I can record. Usually it's about in 4 hours, I can get 3 or 4 meditations recorded. So yeah, hopefully we can do that. And yeah, I'll put them up on Insight Timer. It'll be great. Okay. Thanks, Ruth. Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. You guys inspire me and propel me to wanting to bring more to you. So yeah, I think it would also be nice to have like a little book club. Maybe we can read more about meditation together and grow and learn together. I think that'll be nice. So we can talk about that later. You're welcome, Fatima. Thank you. See you guys. Yeah, lots of food for thought, and I'm glad that you've gained more from it and that you've learned more from it. So I appreciate you. Love you guys, honestly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon. Okay. I'm going to be uploading another walk, a mindful walk, Zenful walk. So I'll do that today. Okay. Lots of love, guys.